Hello and welcome to our first Dreamweaver website design project. In this series you'll learn how to build a complete website from start to finish using Dreamweaver CS6. You can use your own images and resources for this project, or if you prefer you can download all of the project files shown in these tutorials. You can also get the complete series manual in printed or ebook format along with the high definition video tutorials from wizibooks.com. Before we start building our website, let's take a couple of minutes to look at the Dreamweaver interface. When we first start Dreamweaver, the Dreamweaver welcome screen will appear. And this is divided into sections. So we've got the Open Recent Items section, and from here we can open up files that we might have been working on recently. Then we've got the Create New, and in this part we can create new files simply by clicking on the type of file that we want to create. If we come to the bottom of this list, we've got the More option, and if we click on that one, that will open up the New Document dialog box, and it'll allow us to create web pages based on templates. Then we've got the Featured Videos section, and in here we've got links to video tutorials available through the Adobe website. If you don't see this welcome screen when you first open Dreamweaver, it may have been switched off within the preferences. To make it display when we start Dreamweaver, just come up to Edit and Preferences, and in the General section, right at the top we have a little tick box to Show Welcome Screen. Make sure there's a tick in here, and then the next time you start Dreamweaver, the welcome screen will appear. Right at the top of the screen we've got our menus, and these are standard menus as available in most Windows applications. Underneath that we've got some tabs and toolbars, but we'll look at these in a little bit more detail later on. Also at the top of the screen we've got our Layout button, and on here we can choose different layouts for our interface depending on our preferences. For most of our tutorials we'll be using the classic layout, but I've made some minor adjustments to that layout here, and we'll look at how we do that in just a second. Let's have a look at a couple of other different layouts. We've got an app developer layout, and when we click on that one, our panels area moves over to the left and our work area is on the right. Let's have a look at a different one. Let's go for Business Catalyst. And if I click on this one, you'll see this is a very busy layout. So we've got our panels, we've got our property panel at the bottom over here, we've got a second set of panels, and then we've got a smaller work area in the middle. As I say, for most of our projects, we're going to start off with a classic view. So I'll click on that one now, and that will change us back to our classic view. As I said earlier, I made a couple of changes to this classic view, but at any point I can reset it back to the default options. So if I come up to the Layout button again and click, I've got a Reset Classic option, and I'm going to click that now to reset the default values of the classic layout view. And now I'm going to arrange this classic view to suit my way of working. Over here in the panels area, you can see that I've got a couple of panels that are open. I've got the File panel, and I've got the CSS Styles panel open at the moment. Well, I'm not using CSS at this stage, so I can collapse this panel by double clicking the CSS Styles tab at the top. And when I do that, that panel will collapse. That then gives us more room for our Files panel, and we'll be using this File panel quite a lot throughout the tutorials. Within the panel groups we have tabs, so we're currently looking at the File tab, and that shows us a list of the files within our website. If we switch to the Assets tab, that shows us images and other assets available to us from within our site. We've also got a Snippets tab, and we can switch from tab to tab simply by clicking on them. The entire panel area can be collapsed to icon view, and we'll do that by hitting the Collapse to Icons button, which is the little double arrow in the top corner here. And if I click on that, this gives us a little bit more workspace and the panels take up a little bit less room. We can still get to our Files panel by clicking on the File option here, and you'll see the File panel pop out. We can resize this to suit our needs, and when we click away into the work area, the panel automatically closes down. We might be using this collapsed view at certain points in the tutorials so that we've got a bit more room to work with. But for now, I'm going to expand that so that we can see our files. At the bottom of the screen, we've got the Properties panel. And again, this is something we will use occasionally and not all of the time. So we might want to hide this panel away until we need it. And to do that, we simply come over to the Properties tab and double click. That collapses the Properties panel and gives us more area to work with. This is the view I like to work in, and I'll bring my Properties panel and other panels up as and when I need them. If there's a panel that you need that's not currently open, you'll need to come up to the Window tab and select the panel that you want to look at. Let's open up the History panel. When I click on that one, you'll see the History panel appears at the bottom here. To collapse this panel, all I need to do is to double click the History tab, and it'll pack itself away down the bottom here. And to reopen, simply click and it will reappear. To close this panel down completely, I can use the panel menu, and from that I'll choose Close Tab Group. When I click on that, the History panel disappears altogether. You can arrange these panels in any number of ways, whichever suits your way of working best. And remember, you can always reset the panels to their default layout by clicking the Reset option in the Layout menu. If you found this series of videos helpful and you want to receive updates on video tutorials as they're released, why not subscribe to my channel? And don't forget to like and share it with your friends.